Welcome back to your number one news source, starring Josh Bardo. This is Classical News at 9. Hello and welcome to Classical News at 9. I'm Josh Bardo and here's today's news. First off, we'll be going over the very popular Trumpet Concerto in E-flat major by Joseph Haydn. This piece was featured in the climactic finale of Netflix's Korean-produced Squid Game, a streaming show that aired on televisions around the world. Now, none of that makes sense at all at the time period that I live in right now, but I make the rules because this show isn't real anyway. Now, onto a new innovative form of orchestra called a string quartet. What is a string quartet, you may be asking yourself? Well, it's like an orchestra, but instead of filling a stage with musicians, 40, 50, 60, 70 of them. A string quartet, like 4 guys. You may notice, it's way less guys. It's not as bad as it sounds, though. There were many occasions in which a full ensemble orchestra either wouldn't fit in a certain performance area, or the event founders just couldn't afford, 80 people for an orchestra. So this was a much more affordable alternative to your traditional orchestra. These quartets also had their own benefits. Some composers actually preferred writing for quartets as they felt they could express much brighter and more humorous pieces than could have ever been possible in a full orchestra, as they have to factor in so many different instruments. In the quartet, they could just take the 4 and do with them however they please. Next up is a new controversial operatic technique on the rise called castrati. I've heard a few performances that use this technique, but today I'm going to learn about exactly how it works. Castrati is a procedure that aims to maintain a high register in young men by cutting... I think we can move on, actually. Yeah, I think we can just move on. There's instructional pictures on the next page, by the way. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we can move on, actually. I'm thinking we move on. That's enough of that. Why don't we move on to something more lighthearted? I'm thinking we move on to something more lighthearted, actually. Trumpets! We got a bunch of new trumpets. We got long trumpets. Curly trumpets. We got long trumpets. We got curly trumpets. And we got the sackbut. We've got every type of trumpet that you're never gonna need. Still don't really get what the sackbut is. It doesn't matter. Anyway. That's it for classical music at 9. I quit.